When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search. Hello, everyone. Dave Robinson here, father geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us live this evening for those who came back at 8 o'clock p.m. I was running a little behind, had some technical difficulties. I added an extra little video to give me time to get my camera back on. For some reason, my camera would come on. But thank you so much for being here. I just want to start real quick because I know I won't be able to get everybody on the Instagram side on the screen. So I'm going to show it this way again for everybody on the screen. Just want to say, Lori, thanks so much for being here. MUJAD Dila, how you say that? Thanks so much for being here. And everybody else who's here with along with you, KT Moody, Merit. I don't not say these names, but thanks so much for being here. Everyone on the Instagram, Jen, as well. I really appreciate you all for being here. On this live with me this evening. Those who are also on the Instagram side, on the Facebook side, on the YouTube side, on the X side, Twitter. Thank you so much for being here. I just simply want to talk more about this right here behind me. America's Son Candlelight Vigil that I'm having on the 28th. I'm really pushing to have this event, everyone. I have a deadline to come up with when I have to make decisions if this event is going to be an in-person event or a virtual event. And I'm pushing hard to make it an event that's right here, scheduled here for the House and Senate lawn, right there in Arizona. Same place I had the Candlelight Vigil before, for a day of remembrance, and one who have been there at that event know exactly where I'm talking about. I want to put it there again. It's a good place to, highlight the missing American cases, to push these legislators to be there. I invited the mayor to be there. I invited the governor to be there. I invited the police chiefs to be there. Buckeye, Phoenix, and as well as Tempe. The mayors, the city council leaders, some celebrities as well, asking them to join in on this, because I want to make sure that we're doing something huge. I'm really working hard, you guys. I'll bring something that's really big, that can make a noise, that can actually bring a lot of attention to this crisis that I real passionate about. And definitely want to make sure that we're giving all the resources that we can. Make sure all the resource tables there, from missing exploited children to the missing Black and Missing Foundation, to you name it, Daniel Ross Foundation, of course. But just everybody there to make sure that we have an event that is going to really highlight the disparities, to the information that to the things that can be changed and stuff like that. Legislate that can be changed. Things we can do. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff at this event. So again, this is a very important event. I want everyone that's listening to my voice to please help by donating, by getting these T-shirts that I'll be talking about pretty soon, by just being there, by participating in different ways. I hope I can have a live stream as well. You want to participate that way, that helps as well. As long as we have a lot of people watching and a lot of people spreading awareness for these cases, because names gonna come up. Names come up. You have a person that you recognize or don't recognize, and you say, "Hey, I want to share the story." Share it on your social media platform. Somebody may get answers to their loved one, to bring their loved one home. You've seen it happen before. A friend of mine who was able to get on the live streams, and she's been pushing out there on social media to the news organizations, and her daughter heard of it, and then they're back together again. So those things can happen. It just take the right person at the right time to actually be there for just at the right place at the right time to hear that message, or hear that name call, or things like that. So that helps a lot. I want to jump in really fast on the website, and then I'm going to tell you guys a little bit. I told you guys would come back at 8 o'clock. I was going to talk a little bit about who I am as a person, where we from, my family, who is Daniel, and then going to what happened to Daniel, to the efforts to find Daniel, to the things that happened during the efforts to find Daniel, to what I'm doing now. To further, like I said, this event is one of them. What I'm doing now to further the cause, and try to make some changes in this world, this whole country that we have. So again, I want to start here by jumping on screen here. If you guys can see, I have let me see if did I add that on the screen yet? Yes, there we go. All right, there we go. Please help find Daniel.com, the website. This is for those who have not been on the site yet, and also those who've been on the site, because I did some changes. The site is ever growing. If you guys go back and look at the site when it was first started, I started this site. Please help find Daniel. Probably about a week or two after Daniel went missing, I was able to build this website. Then later on, I got it kind of rebuilt and restructured by a web designer company that came in to help. And then from there, I've been doing a lot of changing. I had searchfordaniel.org as well. And then eventually, after some time, I realized I just needed one main site. So I took the searchfordaniel.org and grafted it into Please Help Find Daniel. And here we are. And like I say, it's a growing site. It's constantly growing. Please Help Find Daniel is the site, of course, to sign in. You have to sign the petition. I should change that to say, put your voice to the petition. This is a donation button that I really need you guys to help out with, so we can get this the search of this. I still want to say search this this Candlelight Vigil going. Also, there's an events tab. I will have that event on it. The Candlelight Vigil will be there. Request for flyers for those who want to help me get the flyers out to your neighborhood, to your community. You carry them with you when you travel. A lot of people travel in the summer. Just get the word out, because again, like I said on the other live, I've been in Arizona on the 12th when I had to search, and that's people out there that haven't even heard of Dane's story, and they've been living in Arizona all their life. And so is a room to still have that room here in 2025 to spread the word, and the flyers is the key, because they can yield to new leads, new answers, and things in my son's case. Print the flyer is another form of donation. Those two tabs kind of go hand in hand. The reason why I say that, because that helps with resources, help us on our end on the resources. And, because it costs a lot to print flyers. And so by your printed flyers, it's a cost. I know that, and that's like a form of donation. So I'm really thank you for doing that. Again, these flyers are very important to get out there. But if you can't, again, request flyers are free to you, free of charge to you. We get the flyers out to you. Volunteer to search volunteer in other ways tab. That tab is for those who want to, help out. You may have some skills, things like that you feel like could be utilized to help further the cause, to help find Daniel as well. Volunteer to search. You guys had used this tab when we had the search on the 12th. It would take you to the search page, and then on the search page, you already remember I have the safety briefing to how to do line searches, to how to dress, be ready for it. And then at the bottom, I took all of that away, the information of the search date and things like that. So how you can sign up and stuff like that. So all of that was on this page. So if you go to volunteer the search tab, that's what it would take you to. And then you have the set the map. It shows you the area that we already searched and things like that. This map is not really as great as it was. I had this map from day one of creating my searches out there. I have coordinated with with Daniel's job, the Matrix New World, Matrix Southwest Groundwater. They allowed me to use their mapping system at the time to do my searches based on the areas, and keep up what we've been searching already and things like that. That since then they went in and they did some type of update to their system, and it wiped out a lot of the things that we had there. But what you have there is just a gist of areas that you can see that we already searched, and we searched a great deal. You guys know it's over 35,000 acres of land. Of course, a little bit more now since we had the search on the 12th. But yeah, that information is there. So if you want to check that out, that's it too. Also, you come on straight down, and this is where you start getting information about the American Sun Candlelight Vigil. It'll be on June 28th of this year, and it'll be at for those who are participating. We try to get there at 5, but the event starts at 6 o'clock. I'm really pushing to make sure this is happening. That's why I'm asking for donation to keep it going forward, to go into fruition. Because if not, I have to change it over to a virtual. For families who want to join in and share your stories at this event, I encourage you to do this. This is a tab here. We'll take you to the form where we have your information. We can get things set up for you. Make sure you have a table and, et cetera. Be able to share your loved one's story. You can bring your flyers and things like that. And definitely, like I say, again, for the families, going to make sure we have those resource tables there for you. And those, for things that you may need as a family. Also, I have a little video to talk about the Candlelight Visual. But also, this is the area we come straight down the page. Try to put everything on one page so you guys can get it. The merch store. The way this store works is, again, I'll click on it and you will see it take you to the store, the Bonfire store. And if you guys know anything about Bonfire, it kind of helps when you're trying to do some fundraising. And now what I'm trying to do is fundraising. The shirt idea for the flyer shirt design. It came from the fact that people was asking for it. My team and I, we will wear it out to the searches. We'll wear it out to the city searches. We did the city flyer distribution. Always have our T-shirts on, right? And T-shirts look just like the flyers. And so we had a lot of people asking for these shirts. At the time, with funding, I couldn't mass produce these shirts. And I didn't know anything about this type of site. And so now that we're able to do this, I was asking everyone if they want a shirt. It helps out in 2 ways. In every proceed that come out for you guys getting the shirt, It goes directly to right here to the GoFundMe towards this Candlelight Vigil that I'm trying to put together. The other part is for us as a family, it helps. There's a flyer. There's a flyer on your shirt. And when you're walking around with the shirt, of course, people can see it. It's the same thing as passing these flyers out. Difference is it's right there with you. It helps. It helps. It helps a lot because a lot of people, again, they approach us all the time looking at this flyer, look at this shirt and asking how to get one. It also had the information on the back. Please help find Daniel.com, the website. They can get more information as well as the tip line for those who may see your shirt and say, hey, look, I have something. And that's the number. But the information is on both sides, of course. You guys can see it there. Go back for the Candlelight Vigil also on the site. You will have the American Sons t-shirts. Oh, did I pass it? There we go. Same thing, same deal. Proceeds from that goes to the GoFundMe to help me get this event going. So American Sun shirt, whether it turned out to be a virtual or not, you guys, these shirts right here can use for both, and I really appreciate it. It'll help. It'll help tremendously everything I do. You know, it's not, you can best believe the Candlelight Vision, not the only thing or the last thing I will be doing. I'm always constantly coming with something to bring awareness for missing American families, and especially keep my son's case from going to cold. And I do everything I can to keep his story out there. So I'm relying on you guys too to spread the word. And thank you so much. I see one comment I want to put up on the screen. Let's see who this is. And I want to say first I want to go over the section also well. I did go to the Instagram side. Let's see here. Thank you, Amber, for being here. Hello to you as well. Thank you, Tracy, again for being here. Good evening to you. And also, let's see. Thank you again, Amber. And thank you so much, Yelena. Thanks so much for being here, spreading the word for the Vigil to members of the Bota Theta Phi fraternity. That's Daniel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that for being here. And I'm here in Arizona. We have been sharing it. Thanks so much. And I think that's my son, his fraternity as well. So Daniel. So I really appreciate it, you being here and doing that. I truly appreciate that. And again, everybody, I need that support. That's the reason why I want to talk a little bit about who I am as David Robinson, how a little bit about our family, so you guys can know when where I come from, and one of the things I'm planning to do, why I'm trying so hard to, of course, as a father, that's automatic. Fight for my son, that is going to be automatic. And me as a person, just wanted to kind of make sure that you guys know that you feel a lot comfortable who I am. So instead of talking about it, let me get into it. Have Sarah, thanks so much for being here. I see a couple more people. Jules, thanks so much for being here. Sam Bear, thanks so much for being here. Aline, thanks so much for being here. And everyone else that I may have missed on the Instagram side. Thanks so much. All right, what I want to do is, it's going to be like a screen share. I tried to put it together in a different form. I had a hard time getting it to where I really want to at the last minute. Time runs really fast for me. You guys want to know half of the things I do at one time. I do a lot. In my days, I do a whole lot of things at one time, trying to juggle so much at one time. And sometimes things get kind of twisted. So with a little technical triumph, I actually got it done. I'm going to share a screen with you guys, and we can talk about it, who I am as a person, who is David, and we can keep going from there. And then I'll talk about my family. But what I want to do is start off this way, is about my family, who I am. I'm David Robinson, of course, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, but also I want to say I'm from South Carolina, born and raised, Columbia, South Carolina. I'm a native, and I can tell you that little about me is that I went to a school as a historically Black high school. For instance, I started my young life there in high school, of course, other schools, but high school. I decided to go to college for computer engineering. I have a scholarship to Howard University, and I can tell you, and I will talk to all the young persons in the world, when you have a scholarship, go after your scholarship. I dropped the scholarship because I wanted to come back home to make a long story to get married. And as a kid, using the kids' mind. But I can tell you, dropped scholarship at the time, kicked myself in the back all the time for that. and we end up still going to school, a school called Midlands Tech, technical college, to pursue my dream in computer engineering. I can tell you that has been cut short. I ended up becoming a single parent. From there, being a single parent, of course, I will go from there. I'll go from here. From there, I had to start driving trucks, and let me see here if I can get this thing going right. Columbia, South Carolina. Again, this is a beautiful place. Some people would say it's beautiful. Yeah, two each own. I say it's a beautiful place as well. Columbia, South Carolina is the fastest growing state in the country. I can't tell you that much. And I really, really enjoyed the state. Of course, I have been, like I say, born and raised here. There's various steps you see here. This is our state capital. I used to, from a childhood, I used to spend a lot of time here. From high school, spend a lot of time in our city, walking up down these stairs, walking around this building. My Daniel's mother, my first high school sweetheart, she and I used to walk here all the time from in high school. And so what I'm saying is that this is part of the upbringing. But after that, of course, I became a father, like I said, and I had, of course, my children, Daniel's siblings, and again, then eventually became a single parent for a while. And I know the ins and outs, how it is to try to raise a family, things like that in this economy, et cetera, et cetera. Started driving trucks, of course, started driving trucks to make ends meet. I used to work for a really good job I enjoyed the most, and that was with the elderly, with a hospital, with the elderly, those who have needed coming to our daycare center to be taken care of. So we was really helping families to relieve them when they go to work, and try to make sure that we keep our elderlies in the home instead of sending them out into those homes outside from the family. And so it was a really rewarding job for me, but nevertheless, it wasn't paying the money that I needed at the time to provide for my family. So I ended up driving trucks. I ended up buying this truck here. It's a little older on this picture now at that point, but I ended up buying this truck, started my own little business in trucking. I ended up started working on a second truck. You can see here with a company called Melton Truck Line. It's a flatbed, so I ended up at the end of the day with two trucks. I was doing really good. I even started training and teaching other drivers how to drive trucks, and got them going. But then everybody know what happened from that point. We ended up having 9/11 that happened. Our country has gotten attacked, and I didn't join the military right after the attack. But I can tell you it was a real big problem for us in this country, because we're seeing that our soldiers and our Americans were dying at a rapid rate in Iraq. We also had the war in Afghanistan, and so it was a lot to what happened with our country. So I ended up joining. To make a long story, I dropped my business, ended up driving trucks. Started with the U.S. Army as a truck driver. I came in as an 88 Mike. Those who are in the military know what an 88 Mike is, and that is a truck driver. But I can't tell you how the military is. Not all the time that you join the military, you end up doing what you sign up for. End up with a combat engineer unit. Was combat, and we end up in that. The first thing I did is going straight to Afghanistan. I've never been to Iraq, but I've been to Afghanistan. And it wasn't shortly right after AIT. I went straight to war. So they ended up making me a gunner. You can see me there in my turret, in the second vehicle. The Humvee. I've been doing that for a long time. This is called leaving the fob, leaving the wire. Of course, I just want to give you guys a little background. Leaving the wire. Is the most difficult time a lot of times, because we know once we leave the wire, a lot of times you won't come back. But definitely, this is my job as a gunner, and this defender. This is some of the pictures I want to share with you guys when I in my turret. I come up with this idea because the reason why I cover my face up a lot is we have a lot of dust. We have things called moon dust, we just call it, and it's really bad out there. So just wanted to share a couple pictures with you there in my Humvee and in the turret. Also, of course, we always end up getting hit by IEDs. We end up losing vehicles and do it all over again. So it get to a point that you get accustomed with just getting hit. A lot of times we had issues where we lost soldiers, and we had big IED craters like this. So these are the things we had to deal with when we were defending our country. This is the picture I took myself with after one of the IED attacks, and of course, just want to kind of show you guys what we have to do as gunners. We in our turret, we protect everybody on the ground, make sure our personnel is safe. We see all the people in the crowd. You always watching hands to make sure you're watching everyone and what they're doing. Of course, we again losing our soldiers was one of the hardest part of our mission when we have IED blasts. I can tell you, coming back, I did earn a combat action badge because of things I had to do over there. But I can tell you, this one of my favorite pictures because I was my first time ever being a guide on holding my flag. I can't tell everybody that is my flag. But just wanted to say, just the memories of being in the military. I also went back to school to try to finish up my career, but because of my injuries from my time in the military, I kind of didn't really fully do all of that either at the time. So again, but I wanted to put here for those who I've been talking to since I've been doing this for my son, is that, I say it all the time, I am not on a vacation. I'm not on a vacation. So when people see me here trying to put a search together, going to these events to, you name it, doing the Candlelight Vigil. It's working hard, really hard, trying to put this a whole bunch of stuff. This is not a vacation for me. It's not a vacation for me. I can tell you, I love my son. That's my motivating drive to do everything I'm doing. And I can't stop. I stopped my life to make sure that I'm doing this for my son, because everybody know David Robinson, my family and friends who know me, I love water. I always have to have my foot. I'm always around water. So most pictures you see of me, I'm around water. I'm a water guy. I like to be submerged in it. I like to be in the ocean water. I want it on my feet. I want it on my skin. I want it in everywhere. So again, who is Daniel? And I want to go straight into my son. And you guys know Daniel just by the geologist that went missing out in the Sonoran Desert, the Buckeye Sonoran Desert. And on June 23rd of 2021, and he was with one other person. You know the whole story. But I want to say who Daniel really is. He's my son. He's my youngest son. He's again born and raised out of Columbia, South Carolina. You can see him as a little baby here. Of course, he's always surrounded by his siblings. Of course, they all have their little cliques and things like that. But just a little bit. Daniel, like I said before, he's a person who always wanted to challenge everything he do and do what he want to do. Daniel born without a right hand, have never stopped Daniel. Daniel, I'll say 90% of his days, 90% of his life, he have never really worn prosthetics. Of course, his mother was bigger pusher, but we both, as a parent at the time, when he started school, and especially when he was this age, we were trying to push the prosthetics and get him used to it and things like that, just in case change his mind. But at the same time, we are really concerned about the other students they have to deal with and how he can still keep up and things like that. But again, Daniel showed us that, and I wish I had the clip, but this picture here, you guys, believe it or not, came from a news clip. I was in Afghanistan at the time, or I think I was just getting back, and I got this picture here, and I got the news article here in my state, Columbia, South Carolina, and they had a news article about my son when he's playing this French horn, playing the French horn, doing very well, taught himself. And so when I say that, this is exactly the truth. This is one of the pictures he was doing when he was in elementary school, playing his French horn. Also, Daniel's always been friendly, outgoing, junior high, elementary school to junior high. He's always surrounded by his friends. You go to junior high here, this is called AC Florida High School, is where he ended up going to. It was a very good school. I really enjoyed the fact that he went there. It gave him opportunity because the neighborhood I grew up in at the time, and this goes to those who know me on the political side. I'm not going to go there too much tonight, but when I tell a story that, hey, on my side of the district, the community I live in, for instance, the school that my son went to, the books would probably be handed down to my school. But we may be in the same district, but depending on what neighborhood you're from is where the money goes, the funding. So Of course, with the school I went to, grew up 4 years I went to, didn't have the funding that was needed, but Daniel's school did. So his mother and I, we did what we had to do to make sure our children went to the best schools in our district, and so to make sure they got a really good education, and that's what I really love about the school. And Daniel taught himself how to play trumpet, of course, in the marching band with that junior high school. So you guys can see some of the pictures with his friends from the band and things like that. The young guy here, Marcus on the end, I'm sure if he watched right now, one of Daniel's best friends. And also, well, of course, something that Daniel, I wish I had more pictures to show you guys. If I show you all the pictures, we'll be here all night. But I can tell you, Daniel is a person who has always been overachiever. You know, he had his siblings to look up to. They're overachievers as well. Think about it. You have a sister, one's marine biology major, one is archaeology major. Daniel's a geologist major, and the brother is a computer engineer major, just like myself, but he changed it to something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but definitely they all have those type majors. And Daniel, he's been the youngest. He always looked up to his siblings and tried to beat them and everything. I don't care if it's video games to academics. He have done that. And so this medallion guy, he graduated honors from high school as well. He had, he's I think it was called academic honors and things like that. And so he did very well for himself. Very proud of him. Once he graduated from high school, of course, he decided to go to College of Charleston. Charleston, South Carolina is a very, very great school. Founded in 1770. You guys need to check it out. I enjoyed it. His sisters went to that school too. They were there before him. But he, when I went there to take them in their orientation, his sisters, I fell in love with the school. I said it's a very good school for my daughter, especially the atmosphere there. But then Daniel decided to go to that school as well. But he's always around his friends. He constantly around friends. They go traveling to the beach, to you name it, camping and hiking, and I mean he just does it all. But so I'm saying he's not a person that's depressed like the media or anybody else who tried to sensationalize the case of Daniel and try to change his nature and the person. He is a very friendly, oriented person. He's outspoken. And he makes friends easy. He keeps the family together. Anytime we have conflict, all those things I talk about Daniel is exactly who he is, his personality. One prime example, when he during the COVID season time, when we had after the stay-at-home was lifted, we still didn't know much about the COVID. Everybody wearing masks, and if somebody coughed and people looked like you did the worst thing in the world. Daniel wanted to keep his grandparents safe, but he loved his grandparents. He'd come all the way from Arizona and get down to Columbia, South Carolina to see his grandparents. He'd stay outside the window if he had to. He didn't go inside because he didn't want to, just in case he didn't know if he had COVID or not, just in case he wanted to expose it to his grandparents, but he wanted to see their face. My mother always telling me all the time, Daniel always called and things like that. So that's the kind of person he is. Again, with his friends, always never a dull moment. This particular picture to me make me smile because I remember when he went to Puerto Rico and ended up taking this picture. It was a time that Daniel tried to con me. So I will go into that detail, but this is something that always remind me of Daniel, his personality. But like I said, when he wants to do something, he would do it, but he don't go without telling us. So that's one thing for sure. When he went to Puerto Rico, I remember I told him no. He tried to get me to help him go, give him some money to get there. He was in college. I was concerned about him, his grades and things like that. So no, I'm not going to help you go to Puerto Rico. He got there. I didn't know he went to his mother and got the funding for his mother. But he got there, and I got the pictures, of course. And then he cried about. Well, he didn't come directly to me. He came to his mother again. And tried to get money to me to get him back to Puerto Rico, back to the mainland. And he's stuck in Puerto Rico. Well, he's still in the United States, so he's fine, but he found his way back. So that's him. That's Daniel. Of course, he graduated from college with honors again. And also it was a very proud moment for his mother, his siblings. That's his mother, his siblings, his grandmother, his auntie. His mother, his auntie, and his siblings. Of course, he's proud. You guys seen these pictures before. Then there's so many more pictures, you guys, but there's only a few that we share with the public. But this is it. I wanted to share as another picture with this is goes along with this picture when he did a news because when I first got to Arizona for Daniel, the news channel came to me and said, hey, we did an interview of your son just during the George Floyd time when he was protesting. That day, Daniel called me and told me, I told you everything he do, he tell us, he called me and I was, I think it was around this time of the evening and I was relaxing and I could hear the people yelling in the background, like, what's going on? Oh, I'm at the protest. And I was really proud of him. And he's standing up again. Daniel's always going to stand up for what's right. If that water wasn't there in that ground, he's going to stand up. He's going to say something. I know him. And so the thing is, he was standing up for what's right. Ending police brutality and things like that. So he was standing up for what he believed in. And I'm proud of him. I was very proud of him. I told him that day, I said, man, you make me jealous a little bit. I wish I was there with you, walking in that crowd, So I would have enjoyed that. So, but the thing is, that's who Daniel is. But you guys already know what happened to my son. He went missing. He worked for Nature's New World, Nature Southwest Groundwater to, I would like to say, make Arizona better. Of course, Arizona is a desert state. They need water. They need groundwater. They need a lot of it. And, with that fact, they need people like Daniel, geologists. They need Nature's New World to assess these groundwaters, to do these water models to say how much water can these groundwater can produce and get in certain areas and et cetera, et cetera. The whole science thing, And so people like him is very, very important to Arizona. Of course, as a father, I remember Daniel first got that job. You should have saw me. He told me, "Oh, I'm working for this company," and I'm asking what the name. He try to like not really tell me exactly. He said, "Oh, it's not that big of a company." It was a friend of his from college. His parents owned Nature's New World at the time, and so of course that helped them along with getting this job. So I was scrubbing Nature's New World at the time and trying to figure out about it and things like that. And as a parent but he loved that job. He started off with it, he enjoyed it. He'd been there for a while. I can't say he totally enjoyed it the whole entire time because I know at the latter end he was really complaining about how that company would he had to pay so much money up front to go to these areas and then they take slow about reimbursing them, things like that. And there's some other little issues that I would not probably say here, but there's a lot of things that he didn't like about what's going on with the leadership or hierarchy, you could say, in Matrix. Also, I can tell you, my son did come to me about a time when he told me someone died on a job. I didn't really understand that at the time, but guys, I would talk about that in another forum. But I can tell you some little insights when things I will be sharing. Again, every time I come on live to tell you guys, I'm sharing a little bit more about things that have never been in the public. But we would talk about those really soon. Some things that my son had been involved with when it comes to Nature's New World. So again, back to the what happened to Daniel. Of course, he went missing. This is a billboard that I had to end up getting in sometime in the future from that point. But he went missing, and you guys know that almost 30 days after he went missing. I can't say to go back a little bit for those who haven't heard Daniel's case. When Daniel was missing, I want to put the police report in. It took me some time. First, we didn't jump to say he was missing. But at the time, my daughter was really concerned because someone came to the door. One of Daniel's friends from the job said he was looking for Daniel, and that alarmed her. And she called me right here in South Carolina. She called me from Phoenix. And so, of course, she did her due diligence. I told her to go over and make sure he wasn't home. She went there. His vehicle was gone. He was gone. A light was on in his living room. She could see it through the blinds. But we couldn't say Daniel was missing. We just still was calling around as a friend's family. He always tells somebody something, right? So everybody, we exhausted our resources on people who may know something. Nobody heard what happened to Daniel, of course. They was starting to be concerned. His mother, I called his mother. His siblings called his mother, and her husband haven't heard anything from Daniel. And so one of the things that really got me was when the 6 hour time came. I kind of looked at the time it is here. We're 3 hours ahead of Arizona at this time of the year. And so I look at the time like, man, that's 6 hours, over 6 hours. That is not what Daniel does. It would never happen. It wouldn't happen in a million years. That's when we started getting very suspicious, of course, and then tried to go from there. You guys know I put in a request to do a welfare check. It took me, I said that welfare check court before I even reported a miss. I asked for the welfare check, and that was hard for me to do, believe it or not, you guys, especially after the George Floyd thing and all the police shooting of people of color. I was really worried, and I'll be honest with you. I sat and hold the phone in my hand because I was like, I knew how far I was. Being a truck driver, I knew how far I was from Phoenix, and I've sent a law enforcement to my son's house, his apartment, and that was really scary. To be honest with you. So I did ask eventually, and of course that been denied until because of the Buckeye Police Department or whatever. But anyway, initially I was able to put a police report in, report him missing. Also got information and realized that he's missing out of this desert. Daniel has never been out there. Got information from his job. That's his first time ever been there. This, that, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, that made a major concern for me. And this is the first time, you guys, I tried to utilize the fact that my son was born without a right hand as a push for law enforcement to go out there and search for him, because they said it wasn't going out there. They couldn't put a helicopter out and all this kind of stuff. Other than Officer Cruz was telling me him and another officer ran up and down Sun Valley Parkway in the area to see if he was stuck on the side of the road. Outside of that, there was no push. So, it was very difficult. I just say like it was difficult because I was so far away. But of course, you guys, I did the missing person report, got that in. Everything was set by a story from the guy, one person that Daniel was out. And then they say coworker. He's not a coworker in the sense of they work for the same company. Coworkers, they working at a site together. Daniel worked for Matrix New World. Ken, he works for Weber Waterworks. And the Weber Waterworks, what they do is the drilling company. They drill the wells. And Daniel is a geologist. He's a scientist. So it's two different companies, two different type people. When I say job-wise description, and Daniel went out there to meet that one person out in that desert that morning. So of course he had two well sites assignments. He went to the first one. He ended up taking logs of that. He ended up going out Sun Valley Parkway to go to meet Ken, and that's when he ended up going missing. And so you guys can learn a little bit about the story who have known about Daniel's story. It's a lot of detail. It's a lot of detail I can go through, but I can't tell you from my perspective. I have went out there because they told me Daniel's Buckeye didn't go do a search. They say he's a grown man, can disappear if he want to, like Daniel told them that or something. And they only put his name on the NCIC database, and the way he explained it to me, you guys will hear all this recording and see how Buckeye lied to you all this time. But how they just put him on a database. So if a law enforcement officer see Daniel's vehicle on the road somewhere, it automatically flag on their computers, on their cameras or whatever. That's as far as that Buckeye went at the time. So that really pushed me to get to Arizona to look for Daniel myself. I drove over 2,000 miles to search for my son and put that search together. So here we go back to this desert. And the reason why I put it here, because 30 days later, Daniel's vehicle showed up in the Sonoran Desert right here in this ravine. This is from Buckeye Police Department's picture. They stopped, picture stopped. This is I think the drone box where they had a drone in. This is one of the officers sitting under a canopy, and the other one standing under the canopy. And this is, if I do the timestamp, the guys, and it won't even match with their report, but we're going to talk about those details later when I get a time to ever do that again in life. But this whole point is, this is the vehicles lying on the side. And if you guys look how small this person is versus the vehicle, could you imagine just searching an area? The desert is very intimidating when it comes to air search. So of course, I was out there every day, almost, not every day, literally, guys, but almost every day, wanting to get out there in that desert to find Daniel. So I ended up starting my own search efforts. I ended up starting my own investigation. I started putting some investigation pictures up here. The first picture I have of Ken when I went up there to talk to him, but we'll show that some other day. But I just wanted to show you what the terrain looks like in certain areas. This is the area where the vehicle was found, what the terrain looked like. In some areas, you will not see this much vegetation, but over near the vehicle area, this is the vegetation that you will see. But that's because we're closer to the Hassayampa River. But if you guys can imagine, if you was to say, hey, I'm going to search this area right here in my view, and I need to go up there to that mountain peak over there, and how much land it would take, how much people you would need, and how much time it would take for you to do a line search of this, and actually make sure you're not missing over any bones or somebody lying on the ground in the skeleton form, or whatever the case may be. You look for clues and things like that. It takes time. So I just put these pictures up here for people to understand, of those who say, hey, Mr. Ross has been searching for a while in that desert. It is the desert. It is a desert. It's not a neighborhood. It's not a little area around the block or a little wooded area around the block. It is actually a neighborhood. So, of course, it takes time. But I had this video, but I cannot play it. But this is what I tell you guys when I started the search, and when I see this coming down the road, and if it was a video, it's actually a video, and I can show you again, you guys, when I do everything like this again. But this video shows you the line of cars of volunteers who came out to help when I go out off of Sun Valley. But this is Sun Valley Parkway and going into that desert area. Of course, I did extensive searches. Like I said, 49 weeks of searches, searching things like this, like the mines and the this is actually a vertical mine. We got the wells and things like that that's out there in the desert. It's scary. Some of these mines and things like that, they go so far down in the earth, you'd be surprised. They got some mines don't look as pretty as this, but this is one of the prettier ones. If you want to say pretty, as well defined. They have things around it where they actually dig straight down. You got other ones that dig straight in the earth. They come from like way back in the gold mine days. This is a flag that volunteers, after they do their line searches, what we do as volunteers to put flags down in any bones they find. We once ago didn't do it that way. We just take the picture, had the volunteers to take the picture through the website, and then it goes straight to Buckeye Police Department, and one copy to myself and my investigator. I changed it on the search on the 12th, and the only reason why, because I didn't want to make it more difficult for the volunteers. So after the volunteers go through, they'll leave these flags. I'll take the razor and I'll ride around and find these flags, and then take the picture and send it up to the Buckeye Police Department for identification. I want to thank the Arizona Rangers who have been coming out to the searches every so often. This is one of the earliest searches. I have a gentleman named Paul that was helping me with search coordinating at the time, and also I had to do a whole lot of detective work. We find areas that have been digged out, or like somebody burying something. We had to dig that stuff out. You see the gentleman down in the dirt. We had to go down in there. I really appreciate these guys' hard work. They actually dig. They didn't. I wasn't the one that should put my rake my shovel to the ground. These guys were doing it for me, volunteers. So I really appreciate them doing this. But we actually had to do things like that, go down and dig things up. Those who came out on horseback and bring your razors and you name it. We have a lot of volunteers to come out to the searches. So I really appreciate them. This time my daughters would be joining me in the search. Of course, you guys see my daughters in the picture. Also, one of my daughters, her husband. But these are a few volunteers at the beginning of a search while we're waiting on more volunteers to show up. I tell you what, early in the morning to see volunteers come out and everybody is in a mood to say, hey, look, we want to get the job done. It really brings joy to my heart, especially when my family and I really need. I guess I showed you guys those pictures. You can imagine you cannot search the Sonoran Desert by yourself. So, of course, whenever you have volunteers and people come out to help, it means a lot. It means a whole lot. I want to say this right here. You probably say, what is this picture? What is this picture? Threw this picture in here because I wanted you guys to see what happens when you do line searches. What happens when you actually are passionate? Because I can tell you guys, when you're passionate, you really want to find something, you're really looking. I say like this. And I know I will sound like I'm very critical of law enforcement. But when I say when you're really looking for something, you really want to look for something, you find things, right? Because I could tell you, Daniel has been missing on June the 23rd of 2021. It's when people ask me what did law enforcement do, and I had to sadly say nothing. When I say nothing, I'm not saying they didn't go on a search, because they did. They can't get a pat on the back because they went on a search. They can't. They say, well, we did a limited forensics, which they did, and that's because it was under my request, right? But then after that, everything they have done from that point to push, and they'll say, oh, we follow a lead. I even had one time the Buckeye Police Department Detective Biffin telling me my own story, something that my investigator and I told him. He was telling us our own story about a lead in Flagstaff. But he had a lead in New Jersey. Somebody called into the Buckeye Police Department and said, hey, they think they see someone like Daniel. We get those type of leads all the time. I can't say not being critical, but they say they're going out and these searches they claim, right? And they haven't found their hands in front of their face. We have found human remains. We brought, and I'll tell you guys, again, I'm gonna go back, if I can go back on this picture real quick. Right here, when I do these flags and I'm taking this picture, I'm taking it through my website so it can go to the Buckeye Police Department. I have Detective Adams attached to it. And so we don't say that is a human bone or cow. To me, like a cow bone. But I have to take a picture of it anyway. And I send it up to them, and their forensic first calls in real time now, in real time. This is how it was always been since I started my searches. In real time, they will hit us back and tell us if it's human or not. If it's human or not, then we'll put the flag there. Because, like I told you guys, we'll do a hole, and the volunteers will take a picture, and we get results of that. And it says a human remain. We'll put a flag on it so they can find it. They already got a ping location. We put a flag on it so they can find it, right? And I promise you, we was up to 7 human remains. And I'm not making this up. We was up to 7 human remains. And how do we know? Because when we find 3 femurs, for instance, humans only have 2. And we find 3. That's one person plus another femur. That's 1.5. Then you end up finding another. So when we start matching those up, you get up to about 7 people, right? So, but then when the news media started coming around and this thing started to become really national on Daniel's story, I'll tell you the history of Buckeye Police Department. The chief hall at the time got suspended in the past for falsifying documents. They're falsifying crime statistics because they don't want Buckeye to seem like it's a place of crime, which we already know is a sundown town. And the thing is, they was really worried about that. So they started telling the public, we only found 1 human remain, and they say it's a human skull. They couldn't deny the skull, but they tried to deny everything else we found, right? And they tried to bring those numbers down. So we still sticking to our numbers. I still sticking to my numbers. And the reason why I say that, because nobody's out there but us. When I say us, it's myself and my extended family, the volunteers, like Paul here, these guys here. We're the one that putting our boots on the ground, putting our foot on the ground. We was out there 118 degrees. It wasn't law enforcement. This Arizona Rangers are not law enforcement. They're an extension of law enforcement in a sense, but they're not law enforcement. And so we put our boots on the ground, and the volunteers, regular people like you and I, we were actually finding these human remains. We was finding the cell phones. We were finding the closing the case for Maricopa County when that vehicle was stolen vehicle. We actually found things, right? And so when people do the hard work and actually finding these remains and bringing closure for families, they deserve those credits, right? Because I remember a time when, and I'm stopping this real quick because I want to say this. I remember a time a volunteer called me and said, Mr. Robinson, have you looked on I forgot, it was Buckeye's, City of Buckeye's site with the coroner's office or something to that effect. And they said, well, they're saying that Buckeye found all these human remains, right? They found all these human remains doing Daniel's search. And that's what the media was trying to grab, because, everybody trying to get law enforcement all this praise or something, especially the media. And so, of course, the volunteer was offended. So I had to call the Buckeye Police Department. I said, hey, what's going on, you guys? Buckeye haven't found anything out there in that desert. They ain't found it their own hand. Make a long story short, after discussion with them, they apologized to me. And I got in a letter for them. They apologized to me, and they corrected their mistake. They corrected their errors of saying Buckeye Police Department. But no, the volunteers of Daniel Robinson's search found these human remains. And so not what I'm saying is very important, not the fact to say, like you're proud to find someone's family member in that position, we're proud to bring closures for other families, and then want to give the credit to the hard workers out there who's actually out there on the ground, and it wasn't law enforcement. Again, going back to this picture, the human skull that we found, this is the gentleman that we brought home to his family. So this sketch was created from the human remain that we found, the human skull, and that human skull was they did a picture draw, I guess a forensics. I don't know how to really give him the title, but he's the person that can draw pictures of a person based on the human skull that was found. And this is the gentleman that we was able to bring a closure for a family, to bring back home to his family. So again, you guys will see this picture, I'm sure, now that I'm showing this and talking about it again. It was out there before. Showing it again, you guys will hear a lot more about it again, some more. But again, my extended family, I call everybody who's been out in the searches my extended family. You are my extended family. Anytime somebody come out there spending your own gas money, your time, I mean, you name it, to be out there to look for my son, to be out there with me. I love you from the bottom of my heart, for what you have done. So we pray together. Extended family, we pray together. We start off our searches away after the search safety briefing. We'll get a prayer. We're family out there. And you could probably see like Evan Short, he's he's a search coordinator at time, where he's the logistic coordinator at time, and I'm bringing him up to be a search coordinator to take over the remaining time when he was there for that length of time. Him and his wife. Appreciate all of them like family, all the family members out there, people we're together, one people. Nobody care about where you come from, who you is, and all the kind of stuff that I told you guys before, your political ideologies, your religion, whatever. None of that mattered. They all went out the window when we were out there in that search. So again, I just wanted to highlight that. Same thing here. Volunteers on the ground. People really care. People actually really, really care about someone they don't know. So we're out there in that desert. Out there in the desert on a Saturday. And not including the ones, and I want to say this again, for those who don't know, and I know we all keep hearing about, search efforts out in the desert. But, those search efforts in the city. When I had the desert search, before I even had the desert search, to be honest with you, I had a city search. City search, what we did is go out to the hospitals, to the homeless locations, to mental health wards, to search for Dan. That's when he first went missing. That's what I did when I got my boots on the ground. Then I started my desert searches out there. Then I remember the day when I went to do the city search. That's when I started city, but I went to do the flyer distribution. I didn't know how I was going to do that because that costs money to print these flyers. And I took it in faith, asked people again, like I ask you guys for donations all the time, to help me get these flyers, because you always help me keep my boots on the ground and things like that. I need to get some donations so I can get these flyers, so I can have a flyer distribution. I was able to do that, but now I had all these flyers, and how I can get a flyer distribution? That's my daughters. They said it was going to the young generation. They said it was going to check charge of these flyers. That didn't really happen. People who know me. If you move slow, I just go ahead and do it myself. People that know who I am. And so I remember going out and put it out on a limb. You guys, this is the faith, all about faith. I went out and I said, you know what? It's like an old movie, and I'm telling you how old I am. But anyway, there's an old movie that said, if you build it, they will come. I heard that to myself. I like, you know what? I remember that movie said, if you build it, they will come. And so what I did is I took those flyers, loaded them up in my car, and I drove, and I found an area that I thought would be a really, really nice central location in Phoenix. And then I just put it out on social media. Anybody want to help me get these flyers out, come grab some flyers and go in the city and pass them out. And I promise you guys, I went out there, I put it behind Walgreens. I forgot the name of the road, but the Walgreens. I just made it some place I decided to go to is the Walgreens. I parked it because the parking lot was kind of full in the front, so I parked in the back of the store, but kind of corner enough for people to see me if people did show up. And so I got there, I looked around, there was nobody out in the parking lot, just the parking spaces in the front. And then I said, okay, well, let me get out this car and just go ahead and put them on the back of the trunk of my car. So got the ones out the trunk, set them on top of out the trunk and put them on the top. And then as I was reaching on the inside to my back seat, because I looked around, there was nobody around me, nobody, zero. And when I went to go reach in my back seat, I heard somebody say, "There go Mr. Robinson right there." And then, I mean, it was a lot of people. I think it was about 30 people standing. Kind of scared me. But the fact is, I'm saying is, it was the flyer distribution's birth, and nobody knows to hear a lot about all the volunteers. That's all they do. They may not have come out to the searches out in the desert, but they area helping me was always out on the flyer distribution. We'll go out there, and my job was to leave this area. You guys see these pictures again of the volunteers here. I'm out here with the volunteers. And once I leave this desert here with a volunteer here, I go into the city with the volunteers in the city. So what I did, and you guys, y'all could imagine coming out that desert all dirty and everything else. And I laugh because, I'm looking back in them days all dirty, and I try to rush back because sometimes I had to make sure I make it because I have these volunteers. It's a different. We come out of the desert, everybody see the people in the picture. We still look pretty clean, but then we come back out of there at the end of the search. You're not that clean anymore, And so we actually I rushed back and turned all the equipment in. I got all these razors I turn in and all this, and the U-Hauls and all this kind of stuff, and then try to help me catch an Uber and help me get to my place and get a shower real quick, get in my car, throw the flyers and get in my car, and bring all these flyers to the volunteers who at behind the Walgreens waiting on me. Then once some come grab bulks of flyers that they need for their neighborhoods and things they want to do, then the rest of us will meet somewhere. We'll choose like a mall or some areas, because I didn't know a whole lot about Phoenix at the time. Still didn't know a lot about Arizona. So people that's natives or people that live there will help me choose locations where we're gonna start passing out these flyers. And so think about it. I had long days. Start off early that morning, doing the desert, and then go straight to working in the hot sun out there in Phoenix, giving out these flyers in different places, Buckeye, we name it. So it's been a long time. So I'm saying, for resources wise, if anybody want to have any question about how we utilize resources, we used a lot. And I say we got a lot accomplished. Again, don't want to start it off this way, but I can say when you look at a GoFundMe that has on $300,000 or $400,000 in almost 4 years, that is excellent, because what was spent, $1 million can be spent in one day when you're searching for a missing American. And you look up what law enforcement spends in one search for a person, and versus we took that money and we spread it in 4 years. So it was very good, very good. We're doing very well. We're on a good track record. Again, my extended family, I really appreciate everyone. This is this is from April the 12th. You guys can see the razor right here. Of course, I usually get the 4-seat razors in the past, and that's because I want to make sure volunteers are safe. We carry more people. Sometimes I can tell you some stories. But I had to narrow it down because of the funding. I wasn't able to get the 4-seaters. At this time I got a 2-seater, but it was helpful. It helped us out on the search as well, for me to get back and forth to bring volunteers to the area. And it was a lot of moving around to coordinate. I had to coordinate 3 different searches in one. This was April 12th, 3 searches in one. And so I had to coordinate all that. I had to coordinate where law enforcement was. I had to coordinate where the rangers would be, and I had to coordinate where the rest of the volunteers on the ground for the line search. These wonderful people who stayed back after the search is over, wanted to take some pictures. So we really just really appreciate it. Of course, again, this is a picture of the 4-seat razors I would normally get out for the desert searches. And again, you guys, it's something that's very needed. You guys, your donations help with equipment, whether it's from razors to drones to chartering a helicopter, aircraft. You name it, there's a lot of expenditures out there for the desert searches. And like I say, equipment and food. A lot of things got donated. When sometimes we get water donated, sometimes snacks, but other times I have to make sure I go to Costco and things like that and get these things for the volunteers. And also private investigator. You guys helped me with private investigator. I was able to get one, thank God. We were never known about 11 additional miles. We never known about the 46 initial cycles. We never known about the red transfer paint. We never known that the The damage didn't match to terrain where the vehicle was found. Would have never known that it happened around 1 o'clock, the first initial crash. None of this thing happened. And I'm gonna say this again, you guys, so you can have this very clear for those who are listening. I'm gonna say it again. Buckeye Police Department didn't find none of that. They didn't find 11 additional miles. They have never found the 46 initial cycles. They never found the red transfer paint. They never realized that the damage didn't match the terrain. They did not, they didn't examine the fact that the passenger airbag deployed signifies somebody's there. I mean, you just name it. They told me that he kicked his way out of the sunroof, and that's where the glass come from. And we all know that Jeep Renegade don't have a sunroof glass. So it's a whole bunch. So what I'm saying is, everything that we know about my son's case came from my investigation. When I say my investigation, what I paid for, what you guys helped me pay for. So that's where it came from. It did not come from law enforcement. Not zero information came from law enforcement. So you guys hear it out in the public, hear it in the news. Of course, you're gonna have organizations. I'm not gonna put the name out that would. I guess everybody want law enforcement to do well. I do. I want law enforcement to do well too. It's just that just in this case here, they didn't do well at all. They didn't. In this case here, they have not contributed to anything. If my family asks me all the time, David, do you have any new answers about Daniel? What's going on? I can't never say law. They say, what law enforcement? And I have to keep telling them every time, people in the streets here in South Carolina. I say, what law enforcement found out, or what they got? Nothing. I can't take up for them and lie for them. Literally nothing. Nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. Zero. They can tell you we didn't find nothing when they went out in the search. They can tell you. I want to give out some information about the latest, but I'm gonna have to wait for a little while because I have to. All fairness, I want to give Buckeye a chance on something before I go public about it. But I'm trying to get them a little something because you guys realize I did give Buckeye everything at this point to do right with, and we'll talk about that. And I got some promises for them as well. So we'll talk about that later. But I'm hoping you guys don't know how much I hope that law enforcement do the right thing, because I'd rather work with law enforcement than work against them. In the sense, when I say work against them, I have to really talk about those things and try to push them. In the search that law enforcement did, I had to push them. I remember the last big search that Buckeye had. They didn't even actually have the search. It was actually the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, the sheriff's zone at the time. But Buckeye was getting credit for it. What happened is, of course, with you guys, and when I say sign that petition, it matters. I took that petition, said this is much people going behind me, and I sent a letter out to them. And I demanded has a lot of demands. Now the demands of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. He already knows Sheriff's Zone at the time, knew I've been in his office. Me and him had a lot of discussion. And I was protesting. That was for the mail-in protest. I was protesting. I had a protest date. I had people like yourselves saying they're going to come out to the protest, and they got scared. I'll be honest with you, they got scared. They called me, hey, wait a minute. That's pretty much how the phone call went. Can you give us a chance? Now, can you imagine law enforcement asking me that? Can you give us a chance to do XYZ? They want to do the search, and they was going to do this other thing that I was asking for, which they end up not doing that. That's what the mail-in protest came from. I end up saying I'm gonna get everybody involved. But them actually backing up, they were really afraid that we was going to have the protest. That protest is what caused them to put that big major search. My team can tell you, the A team, I had to leave town because I had a family situation, and at the time, that's when Maricopa said they're going to do the search that I asked for, and they put my team. I can show y'all these pictures. I'm gonna put that up eventually, of them sitting in what they call as a situation room, and they had this big old search where they can. I mean, it was really pretty big. I can tell you some footage I have as well. That may kind of question that too, but nevertheless, it was in the situation room. But then at the end of the search, the Buckeye came out and said, "Oh, we did this big major thing," but we know as a team and as a person that it was actually Maricopa County's operation. But that's what law enforcement does. They look out for each other and do this blue buddy thing to each other. But the thing is, what I'm saying is nothing came out of the search. Again, they say we didn't find nothing. They didn't find the gentleman. I'm not going to put his name out. on here, but you guys can look it up for yourself if you need to find out more about the gentleman here. I'm gonna go back real quick. The gentleman here, you know, his remains were found. I could say if you would put it in the city block, 2 blocks away from where the vehicle was found, probably not even 2 blocks, probably a block and a half. And I'm saying it, put it in the city form for everybody can kind of get an idea in your head if you're a city person. And so it wasn't far at all. And they said, and Buckeye said, and telling me as a family, we use cadaver dogs, we use search dogs, and things like that at that crime scene when the vehicle was found to look for Daniel on the 19th. And they haven't found the construction cone out there. They haven't found this gentleman's remains, but we did. When I say we did, right after that. Now this is right after Daniel's vehicle showed up. We found this gentleman's human remains, and we brought closure for him and his family. So what I'm saying is, that's why when I pushed the searches out there, the searches, that type of searches I'm doing, I do it because we got results. We have results. So again, thanks so much for the equipment. Thanks so much for helping with the private investigator. And I want to show you guys this right here, the Buckeye Police Department helped us with the, like I said, guys, the first thing I asked for when I got to Arizona, my daughter, she told me, she was like, she know the funding was getting low. I'm retired military, and she know the funding was getting low. I didn't realize how much it was gonna cost me. I vowed to stay in Arizona till I find my son. Buckeye wasn't helping me. I was getting weary. I was going out in that desert with my binoculars every other day, trying to look out in the desert. I started on desert search, as you guys know, and then I ended up saying, you know what? I have a family press conference, and the family press conference is going to be right there at the Buckeye Police Department because I want them to do something. I needed them to do something. And so, I set this up. I mean, it's amazingly, I was able to set this family press. It was my first family press conference. I was able to fly my son Daniel's mother and his oldest brother out to meet us there. His twin sisters, one was already there. One came out of California, and so we was able to put this together. My investigator, to some of my team, or the desert team I had at the time, members, as well as the NNACP and some of the others that showed up, and so the news organizations. We always been on World News Tonight and so on and so on. It's pushing really hard, you guys. I mean, those things I had to push at nighttime to try to get Daniel's story on these big national platforms is actually reaching out to these people. I mean, all night. I did all that stuff I just told you, working in the city. Then I go back to my hotel room, and then I get on the computer and talk to you guys. I made it a point to tell every one of you that says something nice on social media, thank you. That means I had to spend hours going down the inbox and the timeline and tell everybody thank you on every platform. The second thing was to constantly, I had to constantly engage with law enforcement, but at the same time, I was hitting people like Joy Reid and News Nation and CNN and Fox and you name all these people, some of the celebrities, just constantly trying to hit them up. And I had my little ways of doing that, and I actually got some attention, but one thing that helped me as well was one viral tweet. I put a tweet out on Twitter at the time, and someone retweeted it and said, "Have you heard about Dan?" or something to that effect of saying something, and it went viral, and that was it. That really helped a lot too. So again, but I was able to bring this first press conference, and that's when I realized, you guys, if you guys look behind this picture here, this is the Buckeye Police Department front door of their office. This is on the Saturday. I did all of that planning and did all of that. I got all these people out there, and I was talking. And then once I got finished my speech, I had one young lady come in who she's very well. She's a very big advocate out there in Arizona, Phoenix. And when she finished spoke, one thing she said when she was out there, she's like, "They're closed," and we look at the building. Yeah, I look back over my shoulder. I'm like, they are closed because I purposely positioned ourselves in front of their door. And Buckeye is closed on the weekend. It's like Mayberry, they close on the weekend, and I'm like, who closes on the weekend? When I didn't know police stations close on the weekend. So that's what we had, the closure on the weekend. And so I thought that was very strange with the Buckeye Police Department. Yes, his mother was able to speak as well. Daniel's mother, his older brother. But we got through that. It was very painful. I was able to put together a second family press conference. This time it was out in the desert. And when I named this desert search, I can name a couple of people. I just know everybody that's standing there behind me. There's only a remnants of people. We had probably got I'd say about a good 90 volunteers that day, probably 100. But we had a few to come off the line search to be a part of the part of this family press conference. And my daughter was able to show up for this one. You see her standing there. You got Penny and Penny's I think her son and some of the other volunteers out. And if you look right here really closely, there was Dateline. Dateline was out there because it's been a couple days already with me in the desert. So happened to be out there. So they was out there with me filming. And so long story short, this press conference was really helpful. This is one that I announced that the Buckeye Police Department, that the FBI is coming in, right? Because I put in a request for the FBI for a case briefing. And that's during the time Chief Hall agreed to do that. And also this is the time where I wrongly, and both things was very hurtful to my family because both turned out not to be true. Buckeye Police Department did not get the FBI involved. They ended up telling us that the FBI said, you, Mr. Robinson, doing such a great job of your own, they didn't need to come in. And also the fact that my investigator at the time, I don't know if he didn't do his homework right or what happened, but the one person that said that another person said he's seen Daniel out there in the desert, says he's a federal law enforcement officer. I'll announce that to you guys during that conference. And really thrilled that we have another person that can bring some answers. That turned out to be false. And some more things should have came out of that, but we'll talk about that later. So the other part is that was part of the press conference. You guys, when you donated, I was out in events like this. I did many events. So I'm saying when I'm saying not a vacation, when I was trying to show you guys at the beginning, I'm not on a vacation. No, it's far from a vacation because I'm constantly out there. You guys helped me. Your donations went towards things like this when it comes to the banners because we have my team, they go places to get the banners out, to tablecloths, to be a part of these events, to spread awareness, get the flyers out to people at these events all around Phoenix, Arizona, and to bring awareness to Daniel's case. So this is it right here too. Just want to show you, of course, you guys already know the flyer distribution again. You guys still, boxes still just like this. I have more left. I have another way of getting them out to you as well. But still flyer distribution is there. You need to get those flyers out there. So again, you guys saw on the Police Help Find Daniel website, you can easily request flyers. You can easily print these flyers out too if you can. Or not easily, but you can print these flyers out if you can. That help with resources. But definitely, these are the flyers and what they look like. Of course, the billboards. You guys know that donations help with the billboards as well. Lamar gave me a great deal. These billboards was all across on I-10, across from the east side of Phoenix to the west side, all out to Buckeye, and one place in between. So these billboards is out there. All right, news break. When I was out, and this is the first hotel I was staying in at the time, is I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's when I decided to end up doing the GoFundMe. I was staying there to try to fight for Daniel from a hotel. I reached out to the local community. We got the local news stations. It was hard, you guys. And this one gentleman here, Josh Sanders, gentleman, I love him to death. He gave me the first break for Daniel. When I say the first break, he came out from Channel 12, one of the local news stations, and he helped me. He helped me get Daniel's story on the local side of things. That's why he seemed smiling at me and having a great time talking in the lobby. He came out with his little camera and did his interview. And then from there, we had Nicole Griggs as well join in and help me get Daniel's story out locally. Out into Phoenix area, Buckeye area, and anywhere between. Also, then after that, this Nicole Griggs, when they heard Josh Sanders, then other news organizations started coming to the same hotel to do interviews. I went out to radio stations. Guys, I wanted to point this out because so you guys can really see. See this paper right here? This is how big the flyers used to be. This is how big the flyers used to be before I narrowed them down to get them small, and I had them smaller by design. And the reason why, because when they was this big, I used to laminate them. It was hard, real laminated. And I thought about it. I said, okay, that's great. People could stick them up places and stuff, but nobody would carry these with them. So that's the reason I designed the flyers the way they are now, because people can actually put them in their pocketbook, they pocket and carry it around. It's easier and things like that. And they still sturdy enough you stack them up somewhere. And I did them that way to get more flyers out and to make it easier for you guys to help me. I'll say again, my daughter and I would do interviews out in the desert. That's until I stopped my children from coming out to the desert searches. Of course, I hate this for anybody who come out to searches. I love everyone who sacrifice and actually do this because it's a job. You see the binoculars on my chest. I used to carry those out for a while because I used to tell you guys before I even started my desert searches, I used to be out there with my binoculars looking out from Sunbelt Parkway, hoping I could find Daniel by myself. Now, sometimes I even come on the weekdays by myself to do things, but my daughter and I would do the interviews at the time. My daughter would come to the searches, but when her siblings came, other sibling and her sibling's husband came, they went to a search, and what made me stop them from coming out to the searches is because we were finding human remains, but it still didn't dawn on me until this one particular search. My daughter said they're screaming out, not really screaming out, got on the radio and said, "Hey, we found some remains." And of course, everybody was hitting me up on the radio. Every time somebody finds remains, we think it's human. Myself and the team, desert team, would go out to the location. So anyway, I made it to where my daughters, because they was grouped together, and I made it out to them and look at these remains. Luckily, there was cow bones. But the thing was, my daughter said, "Oh, I'm glad it wasn't Daniel." That's how she said it. And when she said that, then it dawned on me. It dawned on me that, we were out there looking for remains. We were looking for Daniel, God forbid, lying on the ground somewhere, right? At the time this search was going on, it was a month out or longer, 2 months out. And Daniel would not be running around the Sonoran Desert 118 degrees, butt naked, surviving without water. So we know what we was looking for when we was out there. And so I said to myself, I told them they're not able to come out there anymore because, one thing for sure, if we found Daniel out there, they don't need to see their brother in that manner, right? So I forbade them from being out there. So if you guys ever ask why his siblings didn't join the search any longer, and that's the reason why, because I want them to remember Daniel exactly how he is, not the way, I've seen things like that, of course, in my wartime, experiences of things, but that's not for my children. So of course, I want to make sure they're okay. Also, I want to thank Breonna Whitley. Of course, everybody know that Joseph, Mr. Petito, for those who don't know, but Breonna Whitley, who definitely to date, she always gives me a lot of airtime when it comes to local stuff for Arizona. And so I really appreciate she being champion on that to make sure the storyline goes in a way that really bringing light into Daniel's case, going away to make sure that we keep awareness and keep Daniel's story alive as much as she can from her end. So I really appreciate her. That's Breonna Whitley for those who don't know. Events. I have been part of a lot of events, of course. You guys, your funding to help me took me a lot of places where I was able to be speaking from the ASU, Arizona State University, be a part of their cold case symposium, And and also for Mr. Risto, you probably could see a gentleman here. He have a missing son. I don't know if he's still currently missing. I need to check on Mr. Risto. But to be able, I met him doing a event that I had called a Day of Remembrance. Also met some other families, but he was able to join us as well. Excuse me, in this ASU symposium. And so I tell you what, you guys, we had it's very good time where we're able to spread word about our loved ones to students of college and things like that. So that was really good. Also, again, this, like I said, was a day of remembrance. You guys, the same place I want to have this current, the next, Candlelight Vigil. And we had it the last time. The last one here was September 2022. It was at 6:30, right at the same place. I want to have this next one here in 2025, Arizona State Capitol House and Senate lawn. That's in Phoenix, Arizona. But this event, I was able to. You guys saw the video of that, but I was able to meet people like Miss Nunez, Elisa Navarro's mother, Mr. Risto, and with some of the other family. I can't remember. I think this lady here, she was with the missing exploited children. I can't remember her name, so I apologize. But many families came out to this event. I put this event together like I'm doing this event now. It is going to be in the same place, you guys, right here in the Senate and the House and Senate lawn, so museum. So you guys, I really want this event to come to fruition. I really want to be able to help as many families as I can. I want to have a lot of resources. I didn't have all the resources I would love to have had in this event, but the next one here, I want to have a lot more resources there for families. So of course, you guys, you say you remember, Aaron. Thank you so much. Yes, you remember this event. But yes, I want to have a lot more. I want to be able to do what I can on my part. You guys understand how passionate I am for helping other Americans. You guys was able to, because of you guys helping sharing Daniel's story, help me get on the national stage for Daniel's story. I was able to be a part of CrimeCon to be able to get on the stage and have a whole forum to Daniel's case, to talk about Daniel's case. And thousands of people came into that auditorium to be able to hear about Daniel. That weekend, my team and I, when I say flyers, I'll go back real quick. If I can go back to those boxes of flyers, you see these boxes right here. Let me see if I can go back right here. These boxes here, flyers, we have boxes a little bigger than that. We have huge boxes. This is before I start packaging them and things like this. We had these big, huge brown boxes, and we took several of them out there into the CrimeCon event, right, in Vegas. This is in Las Vegas. Could you imagine? I have never been in Las Vegas in my life as in entertainment. When I was driving trucks, I drove through Las Vegas, and at this event, we've been there for a business reason. We're there for the event. Of course, you guys, most people go to Las Vegas to enjoy themselves and have fun. It wasn't for us. What we did as a team, after this event was over at night, we grabbed all the flyers we can. We was passing it out to people out on the strip. So what I'm saying is, we went there with so many boxes of flyers that came back with zero. We got so many flyers out to tourists and people out there in the street. I was really impressed. My team did really good. Well, I was really impressed, and I told them, I said, man, I know we're tired, but the thing is, we got a lot accomplished, and I really smile about it because I remember that time. I also remember getting out to the podcasters and things. These are wonderful people to be able to talk on their podcast. Jamie Albright from Tenderfoot, Derica and Natalie from Black and Missing Foundation, along with my team members, Barry and Sophia, definitely had time out there in the CrimeCon to be able to get Daniel's story out there and to be a speaker. Of course, you guys know I met the Petito's family. We are part of a club that we want to be with, don't want to be in, but we are a family. Also, I have, excuse me, other families out there that we met in CrimeCon. Miss Round as well. She's part of this picture. And, you know, Mr. Ethan, we all been there really, really helping each other out. So I really appreciate that for every last one of these families. And well, Dylan Round's mother, you guys know Dylan Round's mother as well. But yes, able to share a stage together here and also in Vegas. Vegas and Orlando. This we're here this when with the Petitos in Orlando, where we was actually take the stage and talk about abuse, domestic violence, and also white woman syndrome and the disparities and things like that. To be able to have that conversation for the audience and share our loved one's story. Of course, Daniel's the only one in that whole picture at the time that's still currently missing, but was able to help other families that way. My daughter, my champion, the fact that she was able to attend these events to get these flyers out. Again, guys, those flyers, we put out tons of flyers out, and so to be able to get these things done, I really appreciate, my daughter as well for making sure my younger daughter, my baby daughter, being a part of the team. Put action with my words, you guys. Daniel Rawson Foundation been birthed based on what I've been doing, finding my son, and being heartbroken. And after heartbroken, every week I had to go in the desert, I had to go out in that city, have to go talk to interviews. It's not easy, guys. It might sound like it's easy, but every time you have to tell a story over and over and over and over again to these interviews and stuff, it's hard. You live with the pain over and over again, right? And so at the same time, what gave you some relief is that people can actually relate to you. I have had families who have missing loved ones of their own. These families, they would talk to me a lot out there in the desert, and I'm like, what? Wait a minute, you have a missing loved one, and you're out here helping me. Of course, I've been searches myself, not just for Daniel search, but in Arizona, you find a lot of missing Americans out there, and you go to these searches. But the fact is that people actually the love and things that you see. But then, of course, I had to do a lot of research. I had to do a lot of meeting with government officials, city officials, and you name it. And I started seeing all these things and knowing all these things that's going on. And some of the things I'm like, some things we just can do better that can prevent people from going missing in the first place. Or if they do, we can catch answers really quick. So knowing all these things and starting becoming educated on a lot of these things. What am I supposed to do? Take it back home, South Carolina, and put it up under my pillow somewhere? No, I have to do something. So of course, Daniel Rawson Foundation was birthed that way. I saw the disparities. We talked about white woman syndrome. We talked about the 600,000 Americans go missing every year of every race. We talk about the indigenous population who has missing Americans, missing in their populations as well, and a lot of them are women and children because of the domestic violence and things like that as well. So and nobody talks about those things, and nobody try to help no one. And so sometimes God allows you to be in a position to help people, right? So I knew it. I said, you know what? God put me in a position, despite of the fact that my son is currently missing, despite of the fact that I'm in pain, my family in pain, we have to do something. Just like I see what the Petito family is doing with the Gary Petito Foundation. They are helping people in the midst of their pain. So that's what I'm saying. It's the same kind of thing. You can't just sit back and not do something, right? So Dan Rawson Foundation came with that based on the fact of that to help everybody not go through what I had to go through. Don't know what to do at the beginning. Don't know how to engage with law enforcement, what to do first, what are the resources. How, it's a lot that I had to learn on the go, right? And try to make it easy for family. To date, I can tell you this, and I can be straight up honest, and it may sound sad when I say it, but it's the facts. I have not had one. Now I reached out to a lot of them. People always say, "Hey, call Echo Search," and something. I've got the other one, something with a vengeance or something to that effect. All these organizations, they're doing great things out there to help people find missing loved ones. I reach out to all of them. So if anybody say, why you didn't reach out to, I want to get their name right, Vengeance with a Purpose or something to that effect. And you got the Texas Echo Search, and you got this person and that person, and I went through all of them. And not one of them showed up except for one. And that was the Black and Missing Foundation that showed up. Derek and Natalie was able to help with drones at the time when I needed some drone on a particular search. They did it for 2 weeks. They did it for a while. That person came out a few times. And then also they gave a great, huge donation to my efforts to go find Daniel. And I really appreciate them for that. And also to go a little further, They actually also gave my family and I a Christmas present. I think of some funding for Christmas. I forgot how much it was, but it was in the hundreds to help for Christmas. So I can't say the Black and Missing Foundation have done that resource wise. I really appreciate it. Avenger with a Purpose. There you go. Thank you, Aaron. I see it there. Avenger with a Purpose. We reach out to everybody. But I can tell you they did come through. The Black and Missing Foundation, only one that came through. I really appreciate them. I'm not saying it in a way to make the rest of them look bad, but I can tell you they just didn't help us. So what I'm saying is the research, the funding that we needed out there in the search, and I say we because we're a team, my team, we needed those fundings. And those fundings took us a long way for Daniel, for helping Daniel. And my son, help my son, find the answer that we look. The answer wouldn't have came if you guys wouldn't help. I wouldn't have been able to remain in Arizona as long as I did. When I told you guys when I first started my GoFundMe, it was to keep my boots on the ground. I need to stay in Arizona, and I still tell you guys, I'm telling you this already. Whenever you're not in law enforcement face, that give them shade, it give them room to do nothing, and to say we still. The only thing I can say to you is we still got your case open. And then they'll sit down on it, and then they'll sit down on it, and they'll keep sitting down on it again. And the excuse will be, oh, we got other things to do. We got to take care of this. We got so much on our plate. But if you're in their face, I promise you guys, when I was out there, don't think because we didn't get no answers in my son's case. Could you imagine them? Imagine if I wasn't there, we wouldn't have known again. Again, we'd never known about 11 initial miles, the 46 initial cycles, the red transfer paint, all the stuff that we know about Daniel's case, you would not know at all. Matter of fact, you wouldn't even know Daniel's name. I promise you guys, you wouldn't know Daniel's name because of everything you guys helped me with, because I know I needed to be there. I know I'm going to fight for my son, but I needed help. And you guys helped me. I was able to do 40 or 50 weeks of desert search. Now, I got to say 50. When I was on the search on the 12th, I had to think, wait a minute, it's been 50 weeks of desert searches, covered all the ground, brought closure for other families. You guys seen the gentleman and many others. We solved the case of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. I can go on and on. We recovered cell phones that can help with other cases, as well as Daniel's. I mean, we found things. We did things. We cleared areas that made it easier for me and my family to rest that night a little. Say, hey, we kind of almost have a confidence that he's not at least in this area. I mean, we still got places we could check. But the thing is, I'm saying is, all that is a reason. I was able to get a flyer distribution going. That led to a lot of leads that I had. We have able to have the events to get the word out. I'm just saying I can go on and on and on with resources that help. And none of it came from any other organization. None of them came from law enforcement. None of them came from nobody but you guys. Well, you guys were donating and helping out. So I really appreciate it for everyone. I'm going to say it over and over again. Also came out of course, my run for Congress. I wanted to say this, I've been inspired because, again, I've been working with the legislators in Arizona where I had, I was about to say these names, but I worked with some of the senators, and I worked with some of the Congress for the councilmen and women, you name it. And I learned a lot from the police chiefs and I learned a lot. I had meetings with the telecommunication company and talked to them and had tried to get things going. And I learned a lot. I have to say it like that. And when I learned some things I do know now, I told these people because they refusing to help me with Daniel. They refusing to give me things I know they can do that can help solve Daniel's case. And they're protected or not really protected, but hiding behind policies of their own. And so what I told them when I was at that last meeting with them, telecommunication companies, I told them I was coming through their back door. I said, "Don't worry, I'll just come through your back door." It's I kind of smile and laugh at it. I say, "What do you probably mean? What are you gonna do, rob us? What do you mean coming through our back door?" No, I'm coming through your back door. I mean I'm gonna run for Congress. Don't worry, I'll change it myself. In other words, I'll do everything I can to bring legislation to change these policies that they claim they got that prevent families from getting these real-time answers that we deserve, especially when we own certain things. So that's what I'm fighting for when I decided to run for Congress. Of course, you just don't run for Congress just for one issue, of course, but missing American families, no matter who you are, no matter what color you are, or where you're from, you're Americans. We are missing. We're going to bring our family home. We got a crisis going on in our country, and nobody's really doing much. They're doing much about it. We talk about it. We have a lot of progress on it, but we're not having the kind of progress needed. We have a lot of legislation that's out there to help some, but they don't go far enough. And so things like that, we're not utilizing the technologies that's there for us. And so what I'm doing is going in and do it myself, make these changes myself, craft some legislations myself, and get some people to join in on me with this and get it passed. And we're going to definitely make things easy for law enforcement, families, and across the board. So that's what I'm doing right now when it comes to Missing Americans. Of course, again, you just run for Congress just for one issue. Of course, I ran it for things in my state because I already know what's going on in my state and also the country. I'm a veteran. Of course, I'm going to defend democracy. That's just who I am. Of course, I have better buddies that died for our country. I got injuries of my own for this country. So almost lost my life. So the thing is, Daniel, the Daniel Ross Foundation, named after my son, because it's characteristic of Daniel, who he is as a person, characteristic of who we are as a family, and what we stand for. The other part is, of course, I'm running for Congress again. Put action behind your words, and it's to say, you know what, I'm going further than that. I'm not on vacation, you guys. I'm doing this for everyone, my family, and I'm really fighting for that. So again, Dave Ross for Congress. I again have my daughter on the campaign trail. I lost my last election, of course, against a 23-year incumbent. He's been there for a long time. He won, and now he's going on to 24, 25 years. I'll be back against him again in 2026. This time I expected to win. But yes, still going after what I believe. Now, you guys, going to the last thing of the night so I can jump off here is America's Son, Candlelight Vigil. I really need your help. I need your support. And the way you support is you can get one of these T-shirts. You can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can donate. It's a lot of ways you can help with this effort. So again, I want to try to go back and try to go back to the website just really briefly so I can jump off, you guys. And because I do need to be off of here and get some other things going. I had a long day. So I want to say go back to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I will put that back on the screen. And you guys can help if you can. Please help. Please encourage others to do it if you can. Talk to your family members. What I need to do is try to get this oh God, I keep wanting to say search so bad. Maybe it's God telling me something. Need another one. But we want to get this Candlelight Vigil going to help not just keep my son's case on that national, to keep it from going to cold case, but also to help other families. I want to bring the resources I can. I want to make sure when I invite, which I did already invite some of the officials. I just want to make sure I have these things in order. I want to make sure I'll be able to get it as well and make sure things are being handled. So again, if you're a family member and you want to share your loved one's story at this event, please click here. Click here on the green tab, and it'll take you to the page here where you can sign up. And so we can have your information. When I say me and my team, we can, definitely, saying you be a part of this Candlelight Vigil. And want to make sure we get and you also have it on here, you guys. If you can't even attend, please sign up anyway. If you can't attend, you can sign up. And the reason why I say sign up if you can't attend, because the way I got it set up is that if you even if you can't attend, we can get your information and we'll talk about your loved one at the event. We can share the pictures that you share with us, whatever you want to do. When we talk to you, we can put it out there for you. That's if you can't attend. I don't want you to just have to attend just to share your loved one's story. I want to be able to have a platform so you can share your loved one's story, whether you're there or not. So please sign this form. Please, get the information out if you can about your loved one to us, and we'll share it while we're having this event. Okay? So this event is for everybody, not just for Daniel. It's for everybody. Of course, it's called America's Son. Again, I call him America's Son because what happened to our family happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. It happened to people right now the day, 3,000 a day, 2,000 a day of children. And it's somebody's sons and daughters, uncles, you name it, aunties, grandparents, mom, dads, that's gone missing today. And we're not. It's not unique to the Robinson family. It happens every day. Also, you go to this, of course, the store, the merchandise store. You click anywhere on here, but it's the merch store buttons here, but you can click anywhere on here, and it'll take you to the store. And and again, the purchases towards these right here, these shirts. This right here helps us because it's a flyer distribution shirt. People have been asking about that for a while, so I was able to get this out in this form. But it comes in as a donation to the GoFundMe here. It's attached. So when you guys get these shirts, the proceeds that's left over from these shirts come to the GoFundMe. And that's how anybody know about Bonfire. You can look it up at how it works. That's how that works. And so you guys can help us by doing that. I would appreciate it if that's easier for you. And we accept donations of any amount. Also, we have the Candlelight Vigil shirts. Even if the donations don't come out the way I really need it, and I really have a deadline, you guys, but that's why I keep pushing it right now. I have a deadline to get a certain amount at a certain time, but I don't, then I have to resort to changing everything to virtual, which I really, really don't. If I have to turn to a virtual, these shirts still are usable for the Candlelight Vigil. I would make sure it's that way for you guys to send in your pictures for the shirts. And I want to display it on a virtual for everybody like I did before. You guys remember the event I had, Hike for Daniel, event for his birthday, and everybody was sending pictures in. It's hiking with their dolls and hiking, I was able to put that on social media and also on the live and things like that. So it'll be the same as that way, be able to display it and talk about it. And I really thank you for this supporting, because again, just like Brianna Whitley would say on one of her interviews with me, she says Daniel Ross' father found ways to keep Daniel's story out there and keep it from going for cold case status. And one of the ways is to have these events, is to make sure that I'm talking about Daniel's story, and make sure. So what I'm saying is, even after this event is done, and I know I'm taking the faith, and I know God's gonna bless. It's gonna be a in-person event. We're gonna go really well. You best believe there's gonna be some other events that's out there as well that I'm gonna be doing to help find our missing loved ones and to fight for my son. So again, this is not going to be the last, is what I'm saying. So again, you guys, thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate it, your time. Those in the chats, I want to go back to Instagram one last time and tell you everybody, Jen Drill, thanks so much for being here. Walking mood drink, walking mood drink. I can't really say that, but Walking Moon, thanks so much for being here. Lady Diana, thanks so much for being here. Music, thanks so much for being here. And let's see, who is that? Anne. I said, well, Anne, thanks so much for being here. These names are really getting me. Okay, Mass, thanks so much for being here. Jackie, thanks so much for being here. Julius, thanks so much for being here. And everyone else that I probably missed, I really appreciate it. That's on the Instagram side. And those in the comment section, thank you so much for being here. Tracy, Esther, familiar names. Thank you, Esther, for being here. Of course, you're a familiar name. You're always there. Thanks so much for always being here. And also thank you, Yelena. Thanks so much for being here. You're spreading the word. Thanks so much again. I really appreciate that. Kim, thanks so much for being here. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate that. Thank you for Daniel. Thank you for praying for him. Thank you so much again, Sue. Thank you so much, Mary. Thanks so much again, Esther. Thanks so much again, Tracy. Thanks so much for being here all the time as well. Justice, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Hello to you. Thank you. Let me see what else I got here. Kim Dean Byrne, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate that. And let's see if I find anybody. And thank you, everybody. I see your names coming back again. You have a lot of comments. I really appreciate it. Esther, you had a comment there. Your persistence continues to prevail. There is a lot more movement in the case and growing interest. Great job, Daniel's story covered on first episode of American Most Wanted. Yes, it is a new missing series. For those who don't know, and I'm glad you brought that up, Esther. If you guys have not seen American Most Wanted Missing Persons yet, it's American Most Wanted Missing Persons. Daniel's case is featured on the first and second episode. Was on the first episode, but the update is on the second episode. So if you guys want to watch that, you can. I really encourage you to do so. and also find the other families that's out there. There's a lot of cases on that show that need his attention, and you guys can help with that. So by listening in real hard, taking these notes, and sharing their stories, that help a family in a heartbeat. You're out there doing their job. They should literally be paying you at this point. The least you can do is reclassify Daniel's case to criminal. And you're right, I need to get that case moved over to a criminal case because we all know it's a criminal case. Again, for those who don't think it's a criminal case, hypothetical situation. Nothing changed aside of the effects in my son's case. Excuse me. Nothing changed outside of my son's case of just the fact that hypothetical. Law enforcement officer, I'll say the same, and I said on my last live. Law enforcement officer drove on June 23rd, 2021. I'm going to tell y'all the story. This officer from the Buckeye Police Department went out to check on the well site. He heard that some guys were working in the well off of Sunbelt Parkway. So he drove into the Sonoran Desert. He went 1 mile north, 2 miles, 1 mile west, 2 miles north, and he made it to this well site around 9 o'clock that morning. He saw 2 gentlemen sitting there. One, his name was Daniel Robinson, and the other one name is Ken. And he talked to these guys, said, "You guys, you doing all right?" They said, "Yeah." Then officers started talking off and saying some weird things to them. They didn't understand, maybe talking some police language or whatever the case may be. But Daniel and Ken said that the officer just waved off to him and drove off, right? And then here we are hearing in the news that some officer disappeared that day and everybody's looking for him. And some reason they could not find him. Now, 2 days later, I'm not gonna go 30. No, 2 days later, they find his because we know it's not gonna happen for 30 days. 2 days later, they found the officer's his vehicle lying in a 20-foot ravine, and it was lying on his side. Matter of fact, the police officer, his shoes was tucked up on the front end of the vehicle. They saw glass on the ground, and his whole uniform, I mean, everything on the body from underwear down to the socks was 3 feet away from his vehicle, right? I mean, his police radio was still there. His wallet was there. His cell phone was there, and all his water was still there. But the officer was gone. Then the police department, which is Buckeye Police, his employer, came out there and they said, "We don't see nothing wrong with this crime." They grabbed everything and they took everything and put evidence bags, and they called his family the next day and handed these things over to him and said, "We have nothing here. It's not a criminal case." Anybody can tell me in the chats right now, in the real world, would it ever happen? If this would have been a criminal case off of day one, just the fact he'd been missing, or this has been a criminal case at all, or what you guys think? I just want to put somebody's comment up there or what you guys think, because we already know that if the scenario would have happened and it was either chief of police at the time, Hall's son, it was one of the other police officers' son, or if it was a law enforcement officer himself, nobody in this world could not tell me that right here in Columbia, South Carolina, not even Arizona, Sheriff Leon Lott, one of our sheriffs here, he's one of my favorites, so I brought his name up. Hope you don't get mad. But he would send one of his officers out there to go find that one officer who went missing. They couldn't locate him. And we would have had law enforcement all across the country. We would have FBI involved. The president would have been involved. We would have had all the stuff down for one person. And I mean, same exact situation, right? Only difference is Daniel's a young geologist and a person is an officer, right? It would have been 2 different scenarios. And I want to read a comment. And anybody got a comment about that and tell me what you think. I have, thank you so much, Julius Martin over Instagram. Though it's something different. You said, "Stay strong and keep fighting." I'm thinking and praying for Daniel and your family every day. We'll continue on sharing and spreading the word. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that, Julius. Also, I have here, let's see, I have here. Thank you for sharing, Daniel, with us. So precious. Thank you so much, Tracy. We love, support, and pray for your family. Thanks so much for your prayers. All right, and I want to see anybody answer what they would say when it comes to that scenario I put. And let's see if I can find that, because I know what this answer would be. I know what you guys would say, because I would say it all the time. And let's see here. There we go. Thank you, Aaron, because I knew you would say it. It would have been handled completely different, and it would have been deemed a criminal case from the start. And that was without evidence of a criminal case, right? It would have been without evidence. It would have been deemed a criminal case. Matter of fact, that scene that you guys seen, well, Buckeye sitting there, and I showed you the picture at the beginning of this live. Did y'all see any kind of yellow tape around that vehicle? See anything? Because it wasn't a crime scene of him. Nothing. Without evidence, without looking for anything, without knowing anything at that point, they never. And I tell you guys, I have a recording with myself talking to, with me talking to, and I have to put it this way: I recorded myself talking to law enforcement about Daniel and the detective in that conversation, explained to me why he didn't do any, didn't see any reason to do any forensics at that scene, right? Because they didn't take it serious. He didn't have no reason that he felt that he should. And so, in the same scenario, if somebody asked them, the family asked them, it wouldn't have been a question because we would have known. It would have been a question of why I didn't make it a crime scene. It would have, all hell would have broke loose. So the thing is, nobody can in this blue world could tell me that the only reason why it's not a criminal case because my son is my son. He's not their son. He's not a police officer. And I'm trying to refrain from saying the black word too, but just put it in a regular sense. He's my son. He's not a police officer. He's not one of their children. So they look at that scene and they see nothing, despite of the fact that the family says my son would never go into place without saying anything. Despite of the fact that the rancher said the vehicle was there 2 days prior. Despite of the fact that the physical evidence said the vehicle wasn't there. That's red transfer paint on the vehicle, nothing red in the desert. The fact that there was 2 impressions on the windshield that somebody's trying to beat and it got nothing to do with the terrain itself. The fact of the matter that glass on the ground that we don't talk about. When I first seen this glass on the scene, it's in a square, perfect square. It's on the other side of the vehicle, way on the side, but it's in a square form shape and it's not like minimal to almost zero glass inside that vehicle. But the glass is sitting there perfect. Like somebody took the glass, slat it down and smashed it down and make it look like it came from the vehicle, the sunroof or something. And then not only that, the 11 additional miles, I've been going over and over again. With all of that, and the fact that there's 46 initial cycles, and again, the Buckeye Police Department want you guys to believe that against science. I want you guys to go. No, you can't even do it, but I want you to go get your dinner table chair or something, and you turn it to the side, lay it on the floor flat, and then try to sit in it, and see how long you can sit in this chair. And think about you sitting there trying to crank it up 46 times. While you're sitting there, while it's dangling, but then this vehicle is in the air. The driver's seat was dangling in the air, and you can sit there and try to crank a vehicle 46 times, right? They want you to believe, defy logics and science, right? Common sense. Don't even think about it. Throw your common sense out the window. I want you to believe what I'm telling you, that type thing. So again, you guys, that's what I've been fighting for all this time, and that's what you guys help in your persistence on helping me continue my fight. That's what it's all about. And I really appreciate everybody who's been doing that. It is a stage event. We already know that. My investigator found evidence of it being a stage event. The vehicles planted there. We're gonna start going back over those scenarios as well. Some things that you guys need to remember about the vehicle being seen 2 days prior as well. Again, thank you so much, everybody who's joined in with me this evening. I stayed longer than I said I would. Told somebody I can do about 15 minutes. I'm off. It is 2 hours later. But thank you so much. I'm always long-winded. That's just what it is. But thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. Everybody who joined in, who's been watching, who's been helping. Please encourage others doing it. I want to get this Candlelight visual going. I keep saying it's like, I'm begging for money or something. No, I need donations. And that's the only way this is going to work. And I really need your help, you guys. Please, if you guys can, encourage others to help me get this thing going. So talk to you soon. You guys have a blessed evening, and I'll catch you on the next live. Thank you.